Hello friends, welcome back to the land of Kakiak. School day's out and the kids are downstairs. It's so hot outside, like they don't even want to play outside, so they're downstairs. I'm hiding up here. So if you hear like screaming or stomping, it's just my children enjoying their life. Today's video is about how to keep your kids on track during the school day. Okay, so this was a question I kind of got, or like a discussion I kind of got into in like the comments section, I think, on my last video. And I was like thinking about it, and like I made this many notes. So let's go through them. So number one to keep your kids on track is make sure you're on track. Like you need to have a routine for yourself, and you need to make sure you're getting sleep, you're getting nutritious food, you're hydrated, that you have a regular sleep schedule where you basically go to bed at the same time and get up at the same time, that you're getting a little bit of movement throughout the day, some exercise. Like regulate yourself first before you try to regulate the kids. So number one, regulate yourself, get yourself on a routine, and then do some planning. Like make a plan for your homeschool. Always start simple. This is where the Robinson curriculum saved my sanity, right? I was completely overwhelmed. I took it all the way to the RC Pure to start, and it just gave me the mental rest and physical rest that I needed until my capacity increased enough that I could like, oh, maybe I want to change this, maybe I want to like trade this, you know, maybe I want to add that, take a little of this, a little of that, little RC plus, right? I can see my cat in my neighbor's yard. They have dogs, so I hope she skedaddles if they come out. Anyways, start simple with your planning, right? Just the 3 R's to start if you can. Like it was always a little more complicated for me, I felt, because my state requires science and social studies, like all the way starting from kindergarten. So I've talked a lot about that in other videos, but just start your planning with the 3 R's, and we can do more videos. I've talked about how to add on science, and like we always just do history. We think of social studies as history and what we do, but that's kind of another topic, side topic. So regulate yourself and make plans for your homeschool. Okay, number 3, you have to regulate your kids, right? So you're gonna wanna make sure that they're getting enough sleep, that they're on a regular sleep schedule. Like you have to be strict. My mom was not cool. And I thank her for it to this day. Like when it was bedtime, it was bedtime. Like that was written in stone. It's okay to be strict about bedtime. It's good for them. So we do what's good for them because they're too little to do what's good for themselves. I mean, my 12-year-old, I have to be like, go to bed. Go to your room and close your eyes. Sleep. Be strict about your bedtime, like guard that time, because it's important. Even Dr. Robinson said, like if the kids are up past 10, don't even attempt school the next day. So see, even he knew they got to be regulated. Make sure the kids are eating good nutritious food. Again, RC taught me a lot about that and gave me kind of permission to be a little bit more strict, right? So I will be forever grateful to the Robinson curriculum for giving me the permission to do some things that were so helpful to me and my kids. So they have a zero tolerance for sugar policy, zero sugar policy. We're not like zero sugar, but we're probably low sugar. Go low sugar or no sugar if you can, and just start like, I can't stop my husband if he takes the kids with him, like to like if they go to like Lowe's or whatever, they always come back with a lollipop, like every time. I can't. He's their dad. What am I gonna do? You know, he wants to buy his kid a lollipop. I mean, how much of a killjoy am I gonna be? Like rip it out of their little hands when they come home. Make sure that the kids are regulated. Get rid of the sugar if you can. Really strict on your bedtime policy. Just set them up for success. Don't give them orange juice in the morning. They'll be like bouncing off the walls. Okay, if you have, you know, some like ADD that you're maybe dealing with, like I have some of that to deal with. I don't mean to say it like to deal with, like it's like a super negative thing, but it's just like, you know, like just things to consider. You know, like Bo will climb up on stuff to get into the blow pops, and like somebody else has like ADD. They might need to drink a little bit of coffee in the morning, you know. You know, give them their vitamins. If they need their little caffeine, I'm having my caffeine. Give them some caffeine. These are my opinions. I'm not a medical anything. Anyway, so regulate them, then get the plan from you to the kids. What is the plan, right? Have a set, like a regular everyday routine so that they're not waiting on you and dependent on you all the time. And this is where we're going to get into like the real details about keeping them on track during the day. So you've done your best prep work, you're regulated, they're regulated, right? Energy levels are as good as they can be. Nutrition is as good as it can be. There is a plan, there is a fixed routine, like basically a fixed start time. This is how it's worked for us. You can change your schedule. Like we change our schedule at different times of the year sometimes just to be more in sync with like the seasons and stuff and other things we want to do. So it doesn't have to be the same forever, but you know, for your whatever season you're. The goal is to get kids to be independent learners and to be working independently and not waiting, not like on you for everything, to do everything. So this is what I was talking to somebody about this week. That is tricky because they start out being completely dependent on you. So like you have to be with them. Like Bo, I have to do every single subject with them because he's 5. He doesn't know anything. Just be prepared that that's like a weaning process, and they'll get there. Especially if it's like you're always like hardest on your first kid, or you're like the most stressed about the first one. You know, you think, oh, they should be farther along. They should be doing more by themselves by now. Oh my gosh, what? You know, I've failed them. They're behind. You know, like all the anxiety, you know, storms that we have. But they'll get there, and I truly believe, like, and I've heard this before, and I believe it, once their brains are ready to receive the information, they will. So you can focus on the behavior, right, in the meantime, because when they're ready for whatever they're learning, they'll soak it up anyways. But they can't control that, right? But we can have a little bit more control over their behavior and their choices, and we can coach them there and support them there. So this is how I do this. You saw I'll link it below, my last planning video and my last Monday morning meeting video, which is where I set my kids up for the week, and they make in their own planners their own to-do lists for the week. I am careful to tell them in order what subjects to do because they have there are subjects that are teacher led. So when you have kids, especially things like math, that are 2 totally different levels, I'm gonna have to meet with them individually, right? So they can't be both coming to me for math at the same time, or then like one kid, I'm doing math with them and the other kid's like waiting. And they inevitably are gonna start messing around, distracting your third kid. You know, so you have to like coordinate them so that they're not coming to you at the same time, right? Keep that in mind with however many teacher-led subjects you have. You want to, if you can, especially as they get older, eliminate teacher-led subjects if you can, you know. Some things are teacher-led that I do, like writing and rhetoric. I'm doing that with my oldest right now, but it's very minimal. Like it's even from the beginning, it's pretty minimal. So you're just kind of reading along, like you can see where they are. And then like they'll do a little exercise and then you just kind of check it. Like I can do, like while I can start doing writing with Everett, and then while he's doing that, I can be like checking off my own notebook at the time. Like you can do something else at the same time. But there are things that you have to be present for. So just be careful about that. Be mindful of like the order so that if you need to be with a kid for a subject, that it's not at the same time another kid needs you for a subject. You know what I mean? This is what we do every day. So say I've made a plan. Everyone's regulated and healthy. We've had a Monday morning meeting. They've got their plan in their own little planners. Younger kids, like really little, like kindergartners, might get a checklist that you make for them, and they just get in the habit of checking it off. I'm not there yet with Bo, but probably I'm thinking maybe halfway through the kindergarten year, maybe I'll start doing his checklist with him. Every day after that, say it's Tuesday, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday for us, when they get to school, we always just get together, we have breakfast, we get together, we do Bible, right? And then everyone puts their Bible stuff away, And the first thing they do, the big older boys that have their own planners, is they check their planner and they check yesterday's plans. They look back and see if there was anything they didn't get to. And I have them highlight it with a highlighter. We call it the 2 highlighter method. So in their planners, right, let's say this is like Monday, it's gonna say like Bible, math, reading, copy, work, and grammar, history, whatever it is, right? They have one highlighter that they make a little box, with. They just make a little mark. It makes a perfect little highlighted box for them to check off. The next day when they check it, they use their other color. If there's anything they didn't get to, they highlight it. Just so we can say, cause we don't do every subject every day. So maybe we only do history 3 times a week. Let's say we didn't get to history, like this happened to us yesterday. We didn't get to history yesterday. Yesterday was Wednesday, today's Thursday. So it's highlighted to remind us when we, at the end, as we're looking at our checklist, it's going to catch our eye that, we need to do history today if we can get to it today, right? That helps keeps us on track and not getting falling behind. And when you wait too long between certain lessons, if you your secondary subjects like that, I don't want them to forget. You can forget where you are in your reader or whatever. You know what I mean? So you kind of want to keep them on track, right? And then I do have a reward system I've just recently started working on. I made a little, I'll try to insert some footage, some B-roll in here. I made just some simple little graphs that they get stickers or checks on, and it's 12 weeks, so it's pretty long, but they have to do all their subjects or at least do a good performance in my opinion, and they can get a sticker or a check mark for the day, and they really like doing that. And if they get all the way through 12 weeks, I put a $20 cap on this, but they get a reward. It's a $20 cap. Bo wanted these little robot toys on Amazon, so I printed out a picture from the Amazon and glued it at the top. William wanted another different kind of robot toy. Everett wants $20. So we printed out a $20 bill and glued that on there. So they can see what they're working for, and it starts at the bottom. It's so as the time passes, as they get to the top, that's when they know they get that prize. I know you don't have to do that. They're always asking me for stuff. I felt like we were buying, between me and my husband, we're just buying randomly. And I was like, okay, if we're gonna buy them toys anyways, here and there, or books or something, let's make them work, at least think they're working for it. Do you know what I mean? I've done it before with my mom. My mom will send a present, but it'll have multiple things in it, I'll give them one, but sometimes I've saved other parts of it. She may have sent some army stuff one time, but there was a bag of army guys. I was I'm gonna wait and give this to them later as a reward for something. Of course, I told them their Mimi sent it, but you know what I mean? Anyway, so Monday morning meetings, know how to check their planner, see if they're missing anything. So they check their planner, then they make a to-do pile for the day. So I have them go, so Everett has a basket with all his current books in it. And then William and Bo, they have a section on the bookshelf with their stuff is separated. So obviously I get out Bo's stuff because he's 5. But William can go, based on what's in his planner, he knows what books to grab and workbooks and things. And then they make a pile in their work area. We all just work around one table, but they have their assigned seating. And he puts it in order of like what to do first, so he can just work his way down the pile, and he puts it on the left side. They're all right-handed, right? So their right hand's gonna be like out this way. So they've got their pile, to-do pile in order, and they've got their planner on their book stand right here, so it's like they can see it. And every time they complete something, they can check it off, and then they just take those materials and put them back away for the day. So by the time they get down to, and there's nothing, their pile's gone, they double check their planner, their checklist, and make sure everything's checked off, that they didn't, forget to grab a book or something, double it up. But then they know that they're done, and everything's already put away, and there's nothing left to do. Put your pencil in its holder, and you're done with school. So that's really helpful, that the planner, the checklist, and the highlighter method, and the to-do pile. That's really helpful. Another way to help keep your kids on track is to simplify your curriculum. Can you use less materials? I just find it feels overwhelming when, I've passed on certain curriculum picks because there was just too many components. There were just too much. And I was like, this is gonna get confusing. it's too much stuff to get out and like juggle around, and like just too many pieces, and like what happens when you lose this part. Do you know what I mean? So like if you can pick simpler curriculum, like simpler books, simpler activities and assignments, that's better. That's going to help them stay on track. That's going to help them not get confused or overwhelmed. Also, to do with the planning and the checklists and stuff, there's just reminders you're going to have to give your kids. Like my kids hear this all the time. If I see them just sitting there spacing out, like I'll be working with Bo, and I look over and William's just like sitting there like spacing off or something, and I'm like, hey, what can you do on your own right now? Check your planner. Because there's certain things that he needs me for, and there's certain things that he knows he can do by himself, right? At this point, he can pretty much do his spelling by himself. There's like, I just like to check it. There's like maybe one assignment in our workbooks that I can do with him, that he would need someone to do with him, but sometimes we just skip it if the word list is kind of easy, or if I just don't have time, like just skip it, just go to the next activity. Yeah, if he actually has nothing that he can do independently, then he can free read, because we have a free read selection, and he can just do that, or he can do a puzzle, or he can go outside and I will get him when I'm ready, right? Like sometimes you just have to do that, but they are not allowed to sit there and do nothing, and they're not allowed to distract their siblings who are working. And I mean, that's kind of where you have to get your rough hat on sometimes. You gotta be strict. Family subjects. So another way to combat that problem of kids always needing you and waiting on you is family subjects. So we do Bible as a family subject, and we do history as a family subject. So yeah, everyone's there. I will say Bo's kind of odd man out because he's kind of too young, but he just gets to be in there with us, like drawing or something, like while we're doing those subjects. And yeah, that's super helpful. If anything that you can do as a family subject, do it. I know it's hard sometimes because it just is it's more demanding of you. I'm like, I don't think I can do more than 2. Like every once in a while I'm doing 3 because I will do my spelling boot camp, and like those days I have to cut back on other stuff that we do. Like I shorten, like Bible, I'll shorten it up a little bit, you know. Or I might cut out from our history, I might cut out a component, because it's the good and the beautiful. There's several components. So like, we're definitely not going to do, if there's a craft with it that day, I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? Okay, I'll be honest, I don't usually do the crafts on the good and the beautiful, but yeah, that kind of thinking, just cut a little bit out, because it just takes so much out of you. Then shorten your lesson times. So a good rule of thumb that I've heard, and I agree, it sounds about right, is take their age and multiply it by 3 minutes. And that's about how long, that's like pretty much like their attention span can go. So Bo, he's 5, so that would be equal 15 minutes. Of course, like that's, I mean, especially when they're young, they're developing so much. A young 5-year-old versus, you know, a late 5-year-old, that's good. Bo's probably really good more for like 10 minutes, right? But like he'll be good for like 15 more solid minutes. And so what do? Anything that like requires a lot of focus or like new information, like don't go outside of that little rule of thumb, I would say, in general, right? If you need a place to start, because an error on the side of it being too short, because you can always add on some more tomorrow. Like, I think they could have gone a little bit longer, could have done like one more example with them or exercise. Just add it on tomorrow. It's like so much better than going too long and making them like miserable, like they're so bored, like what out of here or whatever. It just starts causing conflict. Then they think that they don't like that subject. Oh, I don't like math. It takes forever. So it's better to go a little short and then add on a little bit if they can handle it than to go the reverse. Okay. So also with young kids, there's got to be a lot of breaks. I know that's not an RC thing at all. I tried to do it the RC way, which I did do, and I do like it, but like for my younger kids, because especially when you have an age range in there, and like, so the older kids are gonna be able to work a lot longer, and they've got more schoolwork to do, like my 12-year-old, I want to say we start school around 9 in the morning. He's usually done by 3, but we take like an hour lunch in the middle there, so that's 9. So that's about 5 hours total of like work time, and there is some like goofing off in there, you know, here and there, I'm sure. But and a whole hour of that is just reading his book. So it's like 4 hours of other stuff and activities. Do you know what I mean? Which include, right, Bible, writing, vocabulary. History if it's a history day, or science if it's a science day. So, right, that sounds about right to me. Okay, I feel like it could be shorter, but if it's working, I'm just leaving it alone. But like my second oldest, my middle child is 7, so he's usually done by about 1, I would say. So, you know, he does his morning subjects, he takes that hour lunch, we all take an hour lunch, then he comes back, finishes up. He's done by 1, usually 1 or maybe 1:30. Kind of depends on when we take lunch or when we start. But so he really does about 3 hours of school. So, and it's like really good, like focused, quality school. So I'm really happy with it. And he does well. And he doesn't. It seems to be the right time for him because I'm not getting any like pushback from him. My 5-year-old, right? He's just learning how to read, learning how to, math and number. Right now we're doing a little unit on money. I'm trying to teach him what the coins are. A little bit of science, some hands-on stuff. This is the one that is going to need the most breaks. His attention span at longest is going to be, 15 minutes, like so 10, 15 minutes for his lessons for each thing. So let me just give you a quick breakdown of how this looks. So he's got, for Bible, I just read to him out of this little devotional, 5 minutes, right? He gets a break. He gets to like a 10-minute break, right? Okay, play break, 10 minutes, and I'll tell you, I have actually a little bell in the schoolroom I'll ring if he's like gone to his room or something so he can hear. A lot of times he just stays in there and plays. I have a little toy basket in there or draws or something. Then he comes back and we do a lesson from, right now we're doing 100 easy lessons for reading. We've been playing phonics bingo, which is actually really fun. Oh, here's another thing. If you've got kids, because I need to do things with Bo, William's done with like whatever, or he's bored, I just like include him in a lot of Bo's stuff. So like, he's been playing phonics bingo with Bo, which is good for him to review some phonograms too, you know what I mean? It keeps him reviewing things. It doesn't hurt him, it's fun, win-win. It keeps him from getting squirrely and distracting. Everett, we've been playing, so we're doing this money unit, this game called, it's flip the coin, we just call it flip the whatever coin we're using, because I'm just trying to get him to learn like the names of the coins. And so he thought it was really fun because he wanted to practice flipping a coin. So he played flip the coin. today was flip the nickel with Bo, and they do their little tally marks and they're like competitive. They're like, I won, And he also played with them so that I could work with, when I was doing some work with Everett today. He played our warm up that we do for math. We've been playing like race to 100 or race to 1, which would go backwards on our hundreds chart. He's been playing that with Bo for me, so like I don't even have to like do that because it's like working out, right? Anyways, it all kind of works out, and so then Bo gets a break between like any activity that he does. So every 10 to 15 minutes of like schooling, he gets like 10 to 15 minutes like playtime, like break time. The only rule is he just can't. He needs to stay near, where I know where he is, where I can see him, or he can't like be distracting his brothers. Something we've been doing a lot lately is though I just have like some my go-to things that he can do in the kitchen. So, which is like, I can see it from the schoolroom. And like today, I just gave him a baking sheet and like half of a can of Barbasol shaving cream. And he has a rock collection, Lino's rock collection, and he played with that for like a good amount of time. And then, so I got a lot done with his brothers. I think he was doing that when I was doing Bible. And then the next activity, so then he cleaned them up and we did some school. And then the next activity was to wash all that stuff off in the sink. So, like, I like to have some kind of hand-on component. So, I know this all sounds like a lot. But, like, you build, you like you start doing little things, and you just have to become a maestro of your children. And kind of anticipate what's happening. You know what I mean? Okay, try to eliminate distractions. If you have one of the signs to put on your front door that say, please do not disturb, like schooling, homeschooling or something, it's okay to put that on your front door. Silence your phone. I've been known to, like when my kids are distracting each other, like pile things in front of them so they can't see each other. Like, don't make me do this, but let's see. So for your kids that are working more independently, that's great. So like Everett does, most of his things by himself. There's a few things I have to be there with him, but they're not that time consuming. But I just check in with him. There's like check-in intervals, like I'll check in at lunch. Okay, like what did you get done so far? Okay, and then I check in, of course, at the end of the school day. Like let's see where you are. Did you check everything off your list? He needs more reminders. That's just him. So you may have some kids that are like way more self-reliant and self-motivated. I just think it's a personality thing. And some kids that just need more reminders. Like it's just the way it is. Sometimes, because we don't want our school day to drag a long time. So like do as many family subjects as you can, have shorter lessons, and sometimes you can just do things like if you have read alouds, I like to do them like while they're eating breakfast or like at lunch. If you have some kind of reader, like we always have a reader that goes with the good and the beautiful history. So like a lot of times I'll just read to them during lunch. So we're all sitting at the table and I'll just read. Because like you guys are all here and this won't take any extra time in our day because this is just considered part of their break time. So maybe do read alouds during breakfast or lunch or something. Okay, let's recap. Regulate yourself, regulate the kids, have a plan and a routine, convey the plan to the kids, get them planners, have a Monday morning meeting, use the 2-highlighter method to check what you're missing from the day before, have a to-do pile at their workstation that they put away as they're done and they're checking off their list, use less resources, simplify your curriculum, give them reminders. Hey, what could you be doing right now on your own? Check your planner. Give them enough breaks. Especially younger ones are going to need more breaks during the day. And do as many family subjects as you can. Eliminate distractions, known distractions. Eliminate distractions if you can. Have some check-in points during the day for older kids. Be physically present. For me, I can't do a bunch of chores during school time. So school time is school time, not chore time. So try to work around that if you can. Me personally, I get up first, so I start to load laundry, I put away the clean dishes, I start loading anything else that didn't fit in last night, and get breakfast going, and that's about all I can do. And before the kids are down there and we're like eating and cleaning up and starting school. At lunch, I am doing more dishes, so like we've made dishes during the day. I may switch out the laundry, put it in the dryer, whatever. I've got an hour, so I can use that how I want. If I want to spend on chore time, I spend on chore time. If I want to, take out whatever I'm going to need to thaw for dinner, I'm going to check my meal plan, pull that out at lunch. And I might change the garbage or something at lunchtime. But that's about it, right? Just kind of general living. And then we do school, and then when school is done, so after like 3, I can do, actually more like 1, because once the younger kids are done, Everett can just finish his work on his own, and I can do whatever chores I need to do. But but after school, then there's like dinner, and then after dinner, we all kind of hang out, whatever. The kids are always responsible for cleaning off the table. That's like their job. They always clear and wipe the table after every meal. But before bed, there's a 10-minute tidy. So around 8 o'clock, I'm like, everybody 10-minute tidy, go. So anything that's left out downstairs needs to be brought back to their rooms, and then they're going to try to tidy up their room. And then it's teeth, stories, pajamas, bed, routine, get that sleep. Last but not least, I forgot to mention this, acknowledge good behavior. So if you had to leave the room for something and maybe like a neighbor dropped by or you went out to get a package off the porch, if you come back in and they're still working, like tell them thank you. Say, guys, thank you so much for working so hard and not getting distracted because I was gone. Good job. It's like always, any opportunity you can compliment your kids, give it to them. They need it. I hope that was helpful. If you have, like, what are your best home management, keeping your kids working, keeping them less dependent on you? What are your best examples of like what worked for you? Leave me a comment so that we can all gain some wisdom. All right, have a great